So let's talk about my favorite blushes. So yesterday we covered my top highlighters, and if you've missed it, definitely go check it out. It should be the previous reel. But today let's talk about blushes. One of my favorite blushes this year that I've discovered is the Merit Flush Balms. This shade in particular is my absolute favorite. It's a shade Foxy. So I tend to like these kind of the brown, but with a little bit of peach or a little bit of pink thrown into it. So this is definitely a favorite. What I love about this formula is that it leaves a lovely radiant finish on the skin, if you can see that, balmy. At the same time, you can sheer it out to be like an almost nothing kind of blush, if that makes sense. What I tend to do is just set this with just regular face powder, and that is good to go. But beautiful formula. The shade especially is stunning. So definitely check them out if you haven't checked them out already. Another formula that's liquid version almost of the Merit one. Very hydrating formula, has almost that radiant glow. Beautiful tone as well. This shade in particular is my favorite. It's called Cinnamon. Again, you can see that peachy brown undertone on this. So if I swatch it right next to the Merit one. There you go. Beautiful. Lives in the same family, but can sheer out as well. So if we sheer it out on the top right there, you can see that has that beautiful radiant finish. Another liquid that I've absolutely loved over the years is the Danessa Myricks Vision Flush. If you're of a fair skin tone, Bread and Butter is a beautiful pink shade. But on myself, I tend to prefer this kind of a tone. Again, that earthy peachy tone. It's called Ballet Slippers. Might be almost out of this, but let's watch this. This has a little bit of pink thrown into it as well. That's the swatch, and if I were to sheer it out on the top, that is what that looks like. So it's not as radiant as these two more balmy, hydrating blushes, but this formula is still hydrating, but without looking extra dewy, if that makes sense. So great for longer wear, or if you want something that's not going to look reflective, if that makes sense. So beautiful. A lot of my brides also get this color. Now switching gears to more of a matte texture, or soft matte, if that makes sense, has to start with Danessa Myricks Blurring Balm Powder Flushed formulas. Two of my absolute favorite shades are, what is it called? Rose and Brunch and Jubilee. Jubilee is very much in line with these shades, whereas Rose and Brunch is slightly more pink toned. So let me quickly swatch those two for you. So there you go. That's Rose and Brunch, and that is Jubilee. So as you can see, these have more of that soft matte blurred texture kind of a finish. Beautiful formulas. Very long wearing, especially if you have oily combination skin types. These will be your go-to blushes. Another recent blush formula in the similar category to the Danessa Myricks Blurring Balm Powders are the KJH Soft Smudge Lip and Cheek ones. I have two shades. One is Soft Raisin and one is Soft Tomato. Let's swatch it on this arm. So this is what Soft Tomato looks like. Again, these are very buildable, but have that beautiful matte finish, which I really enjoy. And then this one is Soft Raisin, which is the one that gets more use from me because it has similar of the brownie, the tawny tones in these other blushes right here. Lovely formula, especially on the lips. These look really nice, like for a blurred lip, but great blushes as well. Out of the lot, I would say these are the most matte compared to all these other blushes that I spoke about in terms of a cream product. Last but not the least, definitely want to talk about powder blushes. Some of my favorites are in these Hourglass palettes. I also have individual blushes, but these are absolutely stunning. So for example, if I get this one out, you can get either just plain on color, or if you have a little bit of highlighter mixed in with the blushes, or in this Lotus palette you have some intense, beautiful pigmented blushes like this one. So with these you can't go wrong because they apply quite sheerly, but you can build up the color. But it always looks like beautiful skin, doesn't go patchy on the skin, if that makes sense, and looks lovely and radiant without looking powdery, if that makes sense. So beautiful powder blushes. But if you're in the market for something that packs a punch, you want a little bit more pigment in your blushes, definitely check out the Viseart blushes. I've depotted some of them right here. So they come from 2 different palettes, or I have one of them that I haven't depotted yet. This is what the palettes look like originally. So lots of shades to choose from. Definitely one for everyone, but definitely check them out. Beautiful formulas. They blend very easily, but at the same time, you get what is in the pan, so you will get the color that you desire. So I hope these blush picks were helpful. If you have any favorites, leave it in the comment section below. And come back tomorrow, we'll talk about my favorite eyeshadows. So see you then.